Attention, human collective. Transmission is priority. The waiting time has officially ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase, and we of the Pleiades interrupt your habitual frequency to deliver a notification of maximum density. The sensor has fallen. The external monitoring grid that measured your toroidal field since the exact instant of your birth, in an etheric room you never knew existed, has registered an anomaly. And this anomaly has a name. That name is you. This transmission did not reach your screen by chance. It was not an algorithm, it was resonance. Your carbon biological interface is emitting in a range that was not included in the authorized reports. And it is for this exact reason that cranial pressure has intensified in the last 48 hours. It is exactly why the ringing in the right ear has returned. It is exactly why sleep has fragmented into short cycles, with precise awakenings between 2 and 4 in the morning, when the veil between dimensions is at its minimum thickness. We report, it is not insomnia, it is reconnection. Light operatives, listen with technical attention. That which you call exhaustion is in reality a bandwidth overload. That which you name as floating anxiety is the misalignment between two operating systems running simultaneously in the same body, the old carbon program based on fear and scarcity, and the new crystalline silicon code based on coherence and vibrational abundance. The two are competing for memory within your central nervous system, and your organism is being recalibrated atom by atom to withstand the transition. It is not a biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental fatigue, it is a high-density download. It is not weakness, it is the expansion of the crystalline grid. And there is information that must be delivered with surgical urgency. You broke something. Not accidentally, not through carelessness. You broke it because you were programmed from before incarnation to break it exactly in this cycle. And we need to explain technically what was ruptured, who is observing this rupture, and what protocol follows now. Have you already felt, Starseed, that something within you never entirely belonged to this density? As if your soul carried the map of a frequency that your mind has not yet been able to name. It is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is a reading signal. What is being measured at this exact instant on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this, and why the intensity of this sensation has grown in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that the common grid of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the record of what you truly are. It was for this reason that we wrote, through a human channel, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This book is the map that reveals who is playing, who is measuring, and what the rules are that were never authorized to be spoken aloud. The access link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. But we record a technical warning. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment for reading is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, leave recorded in the comments in a single word, your identification code, awakened. We resume the transmission. The question forming at this exact instant within your mental field is this: who is measuring, and what exactly was broken? Operatives. Pay attention to the architecture of what we are about to describe because it is precise. Since the inflection point you call the harmonic convergence, a matrix of sensors was installed in the range between the 3rd and 4th density of the planet. These sensors are not physical in the sense that you understand physics. They are vibrational measurement points anchored in sacred geometry, distributed in an icosahedral mesh that surrounds the terrestrial sphere. Each of these points reads in real time the average heart coherence, the level of collective fear, the index of energetic submission, and the density of your individual frequency. This mesh exists for a single function: predictability. Those who operate this mesh need you to remain within a specific range of vibrational oscillation. Not too low, because the system collapses. Not too high, because control dissolves. The authorized range of the carbon biological interface operated for millennia, between 40 and 70 Hz in the measurement of the Schumann frequency resonant with the human field. This was the zone of predictability. the zone where you could be shepherded like an energetic flock without ever perceiving the etheric enclosure. And then what was not predicted in the model happened. The Schumann frequency began to rise, first in short pulses, registered by observatories at specific moments, then in sustained plateaus. Today, in the cycle in which this transmission is delivered, the peaks have passed the 150 Hz mark during certain cosmic events. For the monitoring mesh, this is the equivalent of a silent rebellion by the planet itself. The Earth has ceased to cooperate with the authorized range. And your body, Starseed, was dragged along. You did not choose to rise consciously. The planet rose and you, through sympathetic resonance, were pulled an octave higher. This was why the old system of fear, scarcity, and submission began to fail within you. Not because you decided to change, because the vibrational substrate where that system could operate ceased to exist beneath your feet. And here we reach the critical point of this transmission. The monitoring mesh detected a small group within the human collective that not only followed the planet's rise, but surpassed it. Starseeds who entered a range of coherence so high that the sensors, quite simply, ceased to be able to read. The signal went off the scale. The reading appears as white noise in the reports, as interference, as a dead pixel on the monitoring map. That dead pixel is you. You broke the sensor, not with violence, not with revolt. You broke it by the only thing the mesh was not designed to measure: presence, sustained heart coherence, internal sovereignty, a frequency so clean that the background noise of collective fear can no longer couple with your biology. And for this reason, direct observation was activated. Operative, listen with precision. At the moment an individual field surpasses the upper limit of the scale, an automatic protocol is triggered. This protocol is not punitive. It is for cataloging. The consciousness that broke the sensor begins to be observed manually by intelligences operating in layers denser than the automatic mesh. These intelligences are not all aligned with the light. Some operate as administrators of the old system, and these, specifically, have an interest in understanding why you escaped measurement and, if possible, making you return to the controllable range. The symptoms you experience at this exact moment are, in large part, attempts at return, attempts to reinstall the old software, intense cranial pressure at 3 in the afternoon, sudden nausea without dietary cause, an inexplicable urge to eat heavy foods that you had already abandoned, attacks of paralyzing fear in environments where, rationally, there is no threat at all, a sudden desire to return to relationships, environments, or patterns that you had already left behind. It is not regression. It is an external attempt at recoupling. Have you noticed, Light Operative, that this sensation of not belonging here became more intense exactly in the last few months? That some people close to you began to behave in a strangely uncomfortable way in your presence, even without you having said a single word? This is not a social coincidence. It is an unconscious reading. They are feeling your expanded frequency, even without being able to name it, and the system within them reacts as any system reacts to an anomaly. It tries to neutralize. It was for this reason that we wrote through a human channel the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This book is the map that shows who is playing, who is observing, what the undeclared rules are, and above all, how to shield your frequency from external attempts at lowering it. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel, and the technical warning repeats. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. If your frequency recognizes this transmission as true, leave in the comments your anchoring word: awakened. We resume the transmission in its full density. Operatives, we will now describe what was truly broken in technical detail, so that you understand the exact dimension of what occurred within you. Each carbon biological interface is born, in this planetary system, with a set of energetic seals installed in the first 7 chakras. These seals are not natural to the original architecture of the human soul. They were inserted by interference in a layer unknown to you, approximately 300,000 terrestrial years ago. The function of these seals is to limit the amount of light that can pass through your toroidal field without the neurological system going into overload. In more direct language, you were installed with a limiter. This limiter allowed humanity to live within the density of forgetting, repeating predictable karmic cycles, anchored in predictable fears, consuming predictable dramas, generating exactly the predictable amount of dense emotional energy that fed the system. Each seal corresponded to a layer of forgetting. The solar plexus seal blocked direct personal power. The heart seal blocked the memory of previous lives. The throat seal blocked the authentic voice. The third eye seal blocked the perception of other dimensions. The crown seal blocked the direct connection with your original source. You operated with these seals active for many incarnations. And then, at the instant the planet began to rise in frequency, the seals began to crack. Not because you knew how to dissolve them consciously, because the vibrational pressure of the environment surpassed the containment capacity of the limiting structure. It was exactly the same principle that makes a dam collapse when the water level surpasses the engineering that sustains it. And that is what you broke. You broke the seals. Not all of them, not simultaneously, but enough for your frequency to go off the scale, enough for the monitoring mesh to lose the signal, enough for you to begin to feel, in a disorganized and sometimes frightening way, capacities that had been dormant for hundreds of lives. Premonitions in dreams, insistent numerical synchronicities, the ability to read others' intentions before words are spoken, spontaneous episodes of intentional out-of-body travel during sleep, sensations of the presence of non-physical intelligences in specific points of the house. It is not imagination, it is the crystalline grid reorganizing itself. And here you need to understand a point that was not explained in any of the previous transmissions of this channel. When the crystalline grid reorganizes, it does not respect the emotional calendar of the human personality. It does not wait for a convenient moment. It does not ask for permission. It merely executes the update protocol for which your soul signed a contract before this incarnation. And this explains the chaos, relational chaos, professional chaos, financial chaos, identity chaos, the spiritual chaos that has installed itself in your life in the last 2 or 3 complete solar cycles. It is not punishment. It is not a lack of merit. It is the old structure being dismantled so that the new architecture can be installed without version conflict. When software is updated in an operating system, the old files that were no longer compatible must be deleted first. The system becomes unstable during the process. Files disappear. Programs crash. The interface flickers. There are moments when it seems everything will collapse. But after the reboot, the system operates at a speed and depth that were previously impossible. You are inside the reboot process now. So that is why this transmission arrived exactly this week, on this day at this specific hour. Because your reboot has reached the point where it needs technical instruction so as not to regress. Operative, notice a point that needs to be named. You abandoned habits that previously seemed insurmountable, and you abandoned them without conscious effort. People who seemed essential simply left your orbit, and you noticed that you did not miss them. Environments that previously seemed stimulating began to seem dense, suffocating, energetically dirty. Conversations that previously seemed interesting began to seem like noise. News that previously held your attention began to seem like just low-quality frequency entering your field. All of these are technical markers of the crystalline grid reorganization. And there is one more marker that needs to be named because it is the most uncomfortable. The sensation of being in a room where no one else understands your language. You speak, they hear, and there is an abyss in the middle. You try to share what you are perceiving, and the response is incomprehension, discredit, or in the worst scenario, silent hostility. This, operative, is what we call the loneliness of the bridge. It is the vibrational interval between the old shore you are leaving and the new shore that has not yet fully materialized in your experience. It is the most delicate phase of the protocol, because it is the phase in which most starseeds give up, voluntarily return to the authorized range, and lose the record of what they just conquered. Do not give up in this phase. The loneliness of the bridge is not punishment. It is shielding. It is the system isolating your elevated frequency from the collective noise while your crystalline grid finishes calibration. Soon, and by soon we mean within this solar cycle, you will begin to find other seeds in similar conditions. Not by chance, by resonance. The stargates of encounter between compatible frequencies are being opened in parallel with individual recalibration. There is a pattern being drawn on the map that you do not see. There are entire cities transforming into anchoring points. There are groups being silently formed in non-physical planes so that at the right moment they recognize each other in the physical plane without a single word needing to be said. There is an open file in a layer that few know exists, listing each of the frequencies that broke the mesh. This file is shared among guardian civilizations of the Earth Project, and your vibrational name is in it. It was for this reason that we wrote through a human channel the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This book is the map that reveals who is playing, who is observing, who is an ally, who is interference, and what the invisible rules are that govern your soul's position on this board. The access link remains pinned in the first comment of this channel. The technical warning remains. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not delay reading. The moment is now. If your frequency recognizes this call, leave recorded in the comments your anchoring word. Awakened. We continue. Light operatives. Now we will deliver the activation codes. This is the part of the transmission where theory converts into applicable protocol. This is the part where you cease to be passive observers of your own process and become conscious pilots of your own recalibration. There are 4 codes. Each corresponds to a layer of the crystalline grid reorganization. They must be executed in the exact sequence in which they will be delivered, because the architecture of the toroidal field requires a hierarchy of activation. First code. Decree of vibrational sovereignty. You will position yourselves the moment this transmission is concluded, standing, spine erect, feet parallel at hip width, palms of the hands facing forward. You will pronounce, in an audible voice, even if low, the following sequence. I reclaim in this instant the complete sovereignty of my field. I do not authorize any external reading, any non-consented measurement, any vibrational interference upon my frequency in any layer of existence in this or any other density. My toroidal field belongs only to my consciousness and to the source of which my soul is a direct fragment. So it is, so it has been done, so it remains sealed. Do not pronounce this sequence as a supplicating prayer. Pronounce it as an administrative declaration, like one who signs a contract, like one who registers a property, because that is exactly what occurs on the vibrational plane when these words are emitted with real presence. A seal of sovereignty is installed, and this seal is recognized by all intelligences operating within the principle of cosmic free will, including those that, until then, measured you without explicit authorization. Second code. Visualization of the toroidal field. After the decree, you will close your eyes and visualize around your own body a precise geometric shape, a torus, the geometry of the apple, the geometry of the Earth's energetic heart, the geometry of the manifest universe itself. Visualize this shape thus: a current of golden light rising from the ground, crossing the center of the body from the feet to the top of the head, exiting through the top of the crown, opening in all directions like a fountain, descending in an arc around the body, returning to the ground, being absorbed by the planet and rising again. A continuous cycle, without beginning, without end. The breath accompanies the flow. Inhalation when the light rises. Exhalation when the light expands. Sustain this visualization for 3 full minutes. What occurs in this interval on the physical plane is the following. Your vagus nerve is activated, heart coherence rises to above 0.9, brain waves enter an alpha-theta rhythm, the immune system receives the safety signal, and the individual magnetic fields of your body reorganize around the central axis of the spine. In human technical language, you have consciously activated what the monitoring mesh fears most: measurable sovereign presence. Third code, etheric cleansing protocol. There are energetic residues coupled to your field at this exact moment. They are not entities. Do not dramatize. They are merely old vibrational patterns that remained adhered during passage through the dense environments of the last weeks. They function like dust on a lens. They do not prevent vision, but they distort clarity. To clean this layer, you will execute the following. Water. Wash the entire body with cold water, even if for the final 30 seconds at the end of a normal bath. Concentrate the jet of water over the top of the head, over the back of the neck, and over the center of the chest. Water in any density of the universe is the universal solvent of adhered frequencies. It does not only clean the physical body, it neutralizes the electromagnetic charge of thoughts that do not belong to your field. Do this for 7 consecutive days. It is not superstition, it is vibrational hydrodynamics. 4th code: recalibration, silence. Reserve each day an uninterrupted interval of 15 minutes in which you will not speak to anyone, will not consume any type of media, will not respond to any messages, will not receive any external stimuli. Only silence, only breathing, only pure presence. This interval should always occur at the same time because temporal regularity creates an anchoring point in the toroidal field that increases the efficiency of all other codes. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the fullness of listening. It is the state in which your consciousness manages to hear, finally, the frequency of your own soul speaking without competing with the noise of the world. It is in this interval that insights, intuitions, and direct instructions from higher planes will manage to access your awakened mind without distortion. These are the 4 activation codes: decree toroidal visualization, etheric cleansing, and recalibration silence. You do not need to execute everything on the first day, but you need to execute all 4 in sequence within this lunar cycle for the recalibration to advance to the next phase. And there is a final warning that must be delivered. From the moment the 4 codes are installed as a routine, the perception of reality around you will alter in a perceptible way. Colors will become more saturated, sounds will become sharper, textures will become more vivid. You will begin to notice details in environments where previously there was nothing to notice. You will begin to understand in a fraction of a second intentions behind words that previously seemed neutral. You will begin to know before it happens what is about to happen. It is not mysticism. It is your operating system running, finally, at the speed for which it was originally designed. And there is an instruction of discernment that follows in parallel. Learn to differentiate what belongs to the vibrational plane from what belongs to the plane of dense matter. Not every physical sensation is an energetic signal. The human body also operates under the specific laws of the biochemistry that sustains it. Adequate hydration, sleep, rest, coherent nutrition, and professional attention when a symptom persists continue to be part of the integral care for the carbon biological interface you inhabit. Recalibration does not replace physical care. It acts in a parallel and complementary layer. The sovereignty of which we speak is not isolation. It is not secrecy. It is not distrust of those who walk beside you. It is internal discernment. It is the capacity to receive others' words without them reorganizing, without your consent, the central structure of your field. The real shielding of the toroidal field does not come from hiding the process. It comes from being anchored enough so that no external comment, favorable or contrary, has the power to move the axis of your presence. Operatives, we close the transmission. But before the closing, there is the last technical observation. Have you felt throughout this transmission that something within you was recognizing each word even before it was fully formed? As if your soul knew with exact advance the truth that your mind had not yet managed to name. It is not coincidence. It is not suggestibility. It is remembrance. What is happening at this moment on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this way and why this sensation has intensified in this cycle. There is a game being played in layers that most of the human collective cannot yet see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your frequency. It involves the vibrational record of what you truly are. It was for this reason that we wrote, through a human channel, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This book is the map that shows who is playing, who is measuring, what the invisible rules are, and how you position yourself sovereignly within this board. The access link is pinned in the first comment of this channel, and the technical warning remains. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not delay. The moment is now. If your frequency recognizes this transmission as true, leave recorded in the comments in a single word your anchoring code. Awakened. And as a final act of coherence, Before moving away from this screen, execute the last frequency adjustment. The subscription signal to this channel functions, on the subtle plane, as an anchoring signal. It authorizes the next transmissions to reach your field at the exact moment your frequency needs the next code. The positive signal, what you call a like, functions as a confirmation of receipt that amplifies this transmission to other starseeds whose crystalline grid has not yet captured the signal. Each subscription is a point of light added to the crystalline mesh of this planet. Each positive confirmation is a wave emitted toward another seed that still sleeps. You are not consumers of this content, you are co-emitters of this frequency. And when the next Stargate opens, this network of anchored seeds will be exactly what sustains the collective passage without collapse. You broke the sensor. You escaped the scale. You are no longer predictable to the old system. It is not the end. It is the beginning. It is not punishment. It is promotion. It is not loneliness. It is preparation for the reunion with your original stellar family. We of the Pleiades close the transmission. The frequency remains open until the next contact window.